Welcome to the culture of New York basketball. The metro area is the mecca of basketball in the minds of many. Its iconic brand of street ball is renowned around the world. There's a long list of legends who've come out of these parts, but there's also an even longer list of should-haves that never got their shot. Dribble and Dimes is the happy place for the hoops junkie. This is where the legendary tales and the unknown stories will reside. We'll be speaking with a variety of guests from all over, whose ties to the New York game gives them a unique perspective to share. I'm Manny Digital, and along with my co-host Emilio the Poet, we're going to take you off the bench and into the culture of New York area hoops. So lace up and listen to Dribble and Dimes.
You gotta handle the rock with flair and rhythm if you want to be judged on wood grain and concrete courts in New York. This ain't no nickel and dime. It's Dribble and Dimes, where scoring never looked this good, I guarantee it. But was your reputation built from the playground up? Or did you call next and they took that ish? Or cause you weren't as fast as police and ambulance sirens? Or as loud as Mr. Softy Ice Cream? No. You see, this is New York City hoops in prime time. As beautiful as the skyline, it's Dribble and Dimes.
He stands 6'10" and hails from the Upper West Side of Manhattan. He earned all Big East second-team honors as the center for the University of Pittsburgh. He's played for the Dominican national team and amassed a solid professional career balling overseas in France, Italy, and Spain, including an LEB championship in the 2006-2007 season. A kind-hearted giant and all-around good guy. Up next on Dribble and Dimes, it's Jaime Peterson. I met Jaime back when I was 16 years old, and the coolest thing about that experience, before we get into him and his story, was he, out of the kindness of his heart, we met maybe twice, and on the second time, he gave me a jersey that he used when he was at the practice, not the practice, he went to the camp.
Dallas
for the Dallas Mavericks.
I had that jersey.
You okay?
I wore that.
I told you I lost it.
I wore that jersey.
I told you I lost it.
I wore your jersey.
That's where it's at.
That's where it's at. So you didn't lose it. He has it.
He lost it.
But
I found it.
but the most crazy thing about that experience was that was my first glimpse into anything pro. Right, when it came to basketball. Right. So that was the biggest gift that I probably ever got as far as basketball goes. And it was just on some yo, you like basketball? Yo, here's a jersey that I wore back in the practice squad. And to this day, if I put it on, it's probably like a dress to me. But, I stayed with that joint heavy.
Yo, so I know you got some jerseys in you right now, man, because you ain't leaving in here without a new jersey.
I don't have none on me right now, but I definitely can bless y'all with some jerseys for sure.
Let me tell you something. Let's cancel this podcast. This ain't going to work out for me.
Let's go to his closet.
He come out here 16 years later without no damn jersey.
You know what's so funny, though, that it's funny that every time I either played or if we won a championship or whatever the case might have been, I always would give my jerseys away.
I see that.
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah.
Well, from that moment, you put a picture which was in many cases false in my head, which is, and I'll explain. Your kindness is not the norm for people that have gone through what you've been through. The professionals,
people like you
don't see that a lot. A lot of cats, unfortunately, they're more I'm the shit versus I'm about I do my thing, but I really care about the people. You showed that from jump with me.
But I think that's just a product of my environment when I was coming up. It's and I told you I'm gonna be real with you on this.
Yeah, please.
I unfortunately I left my house when I was 13, so it's funny that the kid that I was just talking to on the phone, I wound up moving in with his parents. He was not even in the plan. So, I was blessed, that God put the right people in my path. And so it was always, I don't know what it was. It was I could always see God was always behind me. Even if I turned left or right, he was always gearing me. And so I was fortunate enough to just be around really good people. And so this is how it all came about, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it was more so I always knew basketball was gonna come to an end. And so now that I'm 48 years old now, I'm realizing that, you know what I mean, the generations have changed, and we can't really complain about the generations. The only people that can change it is us. So if I got blessed, you know what I mean, when I was a kid, when I was going through my ordeals, and so I said the only thing I could do to make it better is to actually help. And so I already know we're not gonna be here too much longer, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I didn't come into the world with anything, so I'm not gonna leave with nothing either. So,
did you actually stay with any of the jerseys, like as a remembrance of any? No, because I'm saying I know you just say you always give them out, so I wonder.
Well, it's funny. I have one frame at my house. That's my Pitt one.
Oh, okay.
And so what I'll do is when I go to DR in February, I'll bring you. If you want a frame, or I'll bring both of y'all one from DR.
Yeah, because I was gonna say you said him, but I'm right here. So you know this comes with two or nothing.
Shit will be up on my wall for sure.
As a matter of fact, now I want 3.
Coño, relax.
Relax. I'm charging tax. I'm charging tax. Yo, that was a little something you had for me earlier.
Yeah, but nah, for sure, I'll have something for you.
Wait. So you mentioned Pitt. Like, I want to get there, but the whole and we talked about this before you came on the pod. The whole reason why Dribble and Dimes even started was, my brother and I, Emilio the poet, we always have these conversations about basketball. I mean, from very little, always. If anything, that is where we bonded the most. Right. Conversations around basketball, no matter what, right? And so, since that was something that for us was so pure and fun, just literally spending hours just talking about every aspect of basketball. Right. People would look at us like we was crazy unless they was down with basketball like we were. Right. And so we were like, yo, man, like, I'm brainstorming, trying to figure out, all right, how do we do that more consistently and more often? Right. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, yo, the game of basketball in New York, and me having been able and fortunate, to travel globally, much like yourself, you see that obviously basketball is universal, but you see that the brand of basketball that is played and it comes out of New York has been different for a long time than in a lot of places. Right. And a lot of that has to do with the swagger, obviously the surroundings in New York and all that. So for me, it was interesting because I know some, but the documented history of New York basketball, you can't really find. Right. And it comes from so many different angles that it's hard to capture.
Exactly.
So for me and for my brother, it was like, yo, let's do it. Nobody's doing it like that, at least to our knowledge. So we're like, fuck it. Let's go try to figure some shit out and get some people that are cool that can tell us their story. Right. So my whole goal in this episode with you, obviously I want to hear your story and how the journey took place into basketball, which you kind of started out talking about. But I also want to take it to, the other side of the coin, right? So, like, where you are today and what your ongoing aspirations are.
No problem.
So, who is Jaime Peterson?
Well, like my parents, both of my parents, they're Dominican, but I was born here in New York City. Right. And my journey of basketball started when I was 15 years old, and
which is late.
Because I was my love was baseball. Being Dominican, the first thing they push you is to play baseball. And then I was really athletic when I was younger. So baseball was my love, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden I meet Gordy Winchester, who went to Seton Hall, and he was like, "Oh man, you're tall. I'm gonna take you to this boys and girls club." It was here in the Bronx. Okay. And it was Julius. He saw me and he was like, "Man, this kid, he's tall." I grew that summer probably 4 or 5 inches. Wow. So I just shot it up.
But you were always relatively tall compared to your peers, right?
At first I had a decent height, but it was just that summer that I chose to start playing ball. I saw that spurt, and it threw me off because I was like, I couldn't believe it. I grew that much. Right. But it's funny because once I started to get it, I started just falling in love with it, and it was quick. And then I was like, I'm done with the baseball. And then that's all she wrote. And then I just started playing in different like leagues, you know, street. You know, I played in 55th. I remember the first tournament that I played in was it was what was it called? It was called it was in LaGuardia House.
Okay.
I don't know if that was like in one, I forget the street it was, but that was a famous tournament back in the days. It was an indoor court in a basement, small.
Oh, wow.
So I played in that. Then I remember I played in the Millbank tournament. So I was playing with different people because people didn't really know me. So I played against the Gauchos, the Riversides. So I realized that there was something there, like, you know what I mean? It didn't take me long to grasp it, the movements. It was natural. I just didn't know the rules and stuff like that.
Right.
There was guys that were better, but I said, if I keep at this, you know, something could, you know, something could definitely give. And so it was funny because the young man I was speaking to, with Ronaldo, with his mother and his father, they took me in at 13. So at 15, so at that time, you know, I'm living with them, but I'm engaged in ball, and that's what kind of saved my life, was the ball. So I wound up playing in this tournament with Jay-Z's partner, OG Juan.
OG Juan, yep.
Yeah, so I started playing in that tournament, won 36, and then you could start seeing it. You could start seeing my development. And then I played in the 55th tournament in the Polo Grounds, the Rutgers, when it was really Rutgers. I mean, I was much older, but you saw it, and it was crazy to me because even to this day, when I sit down here, I can't believe it as I'm speaking to you.
As you're rethinking all of that.
And when I'm thinking about it, and so then I didn't tell you this. So I left Brandeis I went to Brandeis for a year, and then at the time I'm staying in this group home because I'm out of my house, and then things kind of went into shambles. So I went into the system for a minute, and so within that, I still kept playing ball, but nobody really knew. You know, nobody knew what was going on. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Right. You know what I mean? So
it wasn't like you was promoting. Yo, I'm
I think that was the reason why it clicked the way it did. So at the group home, Mr. Myers, he ran the group home, and then the ladies, Mrs. What was her name? Jones. Oh, the ladies there were like mothers to me, and so they knew I played ball, and so
at the group home.
At the group home. Wow. So what happened was, first I went to Baychester, and I was like, nah, I can't live in
the
this
Bronx.
Yeah, in Baychester. It's a group home called Baychester.
Okay.
So I went there. That's where they kind of dropped me off, and I was like, yo, I can't really stay up in this group home. I'm not really liking the vibe. It felt like I was like in a mini prison, like. Yeah. And I was like, nah. So when they changed me from Baychester to Marola, that was by Spelman.
Okay.
So it was like a house.
Eden Wall Project.
Yeah, around there, right? Yeah. Exactly. So it was beautiful because it was like this house. So I had my own room, my roommate, and so it was in the summertime. The director of the program, he had his little basketball team in Long Island. Okay. So he was like, "Oh, Jaime, we want you to come down and play with us." And so we was in Hempstead, and he took me, man. We did them boys dirty. And so they chased me all the way to the train station.
Oh, they were that tight.
Yeah, they were so tight. So
yo, but what did you do, bro?
Yo, I went to work, and so I started seeing like this could be something. So I get back, and so the head guy of the group home, which is Paul Jensen, God bless his soul, he's still alive, but it was cause kind of him. He made things pop off for me. There was this alternative school called Glen Mills in Pennsylvania. Okay. So they were trying to get some kids out of the group homes, kids that they knew
had some hope.
So they had some hope. So he called me down to his office, and he fell in love with me. So he was like, I think we have something with this kid. So they came in and they interviewed me and a couple of other kids, and I saw the video. It looked like a real nice prep school, whatever, but it wasn't that. So whatever, I said, I'm all for it. I'm like, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, change the scenery.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I said, I have an opportunity to do something with myself. I think if I stay here in the city, it's just not gonna go too well. Whatever the case may be, but I jumped on it. So when I got to the school, my junior Quiqueya, because I was living with them at the time, they signed off on it. So I went, and I remember the first night I was at the school, they checked me, put me in my place. I'm like, what type of school is this?
On some prison shit?
Yeah, so cause most of the kids that were there, they had judicial problems.
Okay.
But I didn't know what was going on. I was like, I'm gonna go to the school.
You thought it was gonna be all good.
Yeah, it's what, but look, if I didn't go there, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Okay.
So I went there and I grit my teeth. And I went there for a year, and I tried out for the basketball team, and I had great, like, Tom Mann was the coach, but the one person that really, like, pushed for me so much was my assistant coach, Craig Mellinger. You know, he was amazing, Rico, but Craig was very influential in the whole process of me getting into prep school, because that year that I was there playing, that was the first official, like, high school basketball that I experienced. So I never played high school basketball here in the city, so I played it in Pennsylvania. So what happened was I did very well for the first time. So they was like, well, we got to get him into like a prep school. So Larry Davis, that was at Oak Hill at the time, he got the job at Delaware, the Blue Hens. So, you know, a lot of talk was, you know, circulating a lot about me, so on and so forth. So my counselor, Troy Jackson, y'all love him to pieces, because he kept me grounded. They both kept me grounded. Just the whole Glen Mills experience kept me grounded. So I wanted to visit in different prep schools like Brewster, a few other, and finally Craig had a child at the time, a newborn, but she passed.
Oh man.
So I never forget that he called me. He says, no matter what happens with my daughter, I'm gonna get you into prep school.
Wow.
Oh my God.
So I was at all, because I was like, oh my brother's going through all of this, and he's so focused, and I'll never forget that. So my counselor Troy, I loved him because he was like that big brother. I got a big brother, but he was like my big brother. He made sure I was good. He went to all the visits with me, and so as strict as the school was, I think that's what I needed at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with that being said, I finally get into MCI.
Yep.
And so it was crazy though, because to go to school there was 20 racks to go there.
And what year was that?
That was I went to
early
MCI.
90s?
Yeah, that was like 89, 90. Because it was earlier than that. I think it was probably
87.
I gotta remember, but
yeah, I mean, you were bouncing around.
Yeah, I was bouncing around, but since I graduated in '85, and then I did a post-grad year at MCI, so it had to be in like 88, 89 around there.
Okay.
So to make the long story short,
20 racks.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So I was like, where this money's gonna come from?
Right.
So I don't know who paid for it.
Right.
And I don't.
Some anonymous person.
Yeah. So.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah,
whoever that was.
So, anonymous, hit us up.
My first year in prep school, man. I'm telling you, man. I have to talk about him because he was so influential in my life, just in general, being a person, but being a ball player. Because I think he made me the pro that I am today. Mm-hmm. And one day I'll bring you the article, but the first year at MCI I remember there was probably like 30 All-Americans trying to make this team. I'm like, this is my second year playing high school ball, like, and then I'm reclassing, so I'm like, I gotta make this team. Right. So I'm in there, and I remember that he saw me talking to some girls outside when I was supposed to be inside.
Some papi chulo shit.
Yeah, you already know how we do it. But I was in Maine. It was different to me. I wasn't accustomed to all that. So he sees me. He's like, all right. So he goes off on me. He said, he just went off on me, and I was terrified.
In front of the girls?
No, he called me. He called me in the gym. The side. Yeah, but he was the type of dude. I remember the first conversation he had with everybody in the gym, and he says, "You guys, I don't want you to get too comfortable, but I'm gonna use you like a used condom. I'll never forget that.
And cut.
That's a hell of an intro.
So, but
that's gonna be my new. By the way, I'm gonna say that at the beginning of every podcast. Hey yo, this is Dribble and Dimes. Get ready to get used like a used condom.
So to make the long story short, I realized he was a no nonsense type of coach. Like, he was at you, and so the first year, so I made the team, and I was proud of that. I was like, wow, I made the team.
And sorry, you're 16 at this point.
I was 17.
17. Okay.
And so I made the team, and I was like, wow, I made this team, because I'm talking about even the PG2 team. A lot of those guys could have played on the PG1, but we just didn't have no room. Mm-hmm. So I made it, but the first year I used to get in so much trouble because I wasn't accustomed to the whole change. You know, I was really on my own. You know what I mean? So it was a culture shock for me, and then it was just different. So I had to get acclimated. So I got acclimated by getting in trouble. So I got acclimated because he took a lot away from me. Like, since if I would do something that I wasn't supposed to, I wouldn't go on a trip. I would miss. So I missed a lot of games my first year there. I remember I used to just wave to the bus, and we spoke about it about 2-3 months ago. We talked about it. Right. And so with that being said, he was like, I think he needs another year. So I did a PG year.
Okay. What's that mean, PG?
A postgraduate year. So I think when I did that, it was over now. Because then I had that 1 year under my belt. I mean, just the training that I had at MCI, professionally I never had it, because we was practicing at 5:30 in the morning, and then we was practicing at 3 in the afternoon. And this was like, back in the days, I remember dudes couldn't even go in the training room for nothing. He didn't like soft players. Right. I'm so happy that he was just in my life, because it's just, I don't think I would have been the player or the person that I am today, because it was like, look, whatever you're gonna do, it's not gonna be easy at all.
I have a question, because you said you walked into the office, and I don't know the name of the person that you said fell in love with you right away to give you your chances.
Oh, that was Paul Jensen.
Okay, so here's my question. It seems to me this is like the taboo. You're coming from the hood, basically, right? And then you going into that brand new climate. Right. Do you feel you had like those good qualities of like being humble, being like respectful, coming out of your environment to theirs? Because it seemed like you did, but I just want to know, like, you were a kid at that time.
I did, just because my upbringing, was strong. You know, Dominican parents, So my parents, they were strict. You know what I mean? And so, even though I ventured away from them, I still had that in me, though. Okay. You know what I mean?
That foundation was
that foundation, and I love my parents for that. Even to this day, like, sometimes they look at me and they was like, man, well, we didn't even know this was he was gonna map out like this. So to me, I think that as much as sometimes we want to be like, oh, it should have not been this way. Why did it have to be that way? Now I'm thankful that it was that way, because I wouldn't be able to embrace the experiences that I did come across, because, being from New York and going here, there, it could throw you for a loop, and then you don't know where you can land at. You can land. So I think just the upbringing, my parents' upbringing, then me having me going to that school, the discipline was always there. And then when I ran into Max, he didn't take no crap from nobody. I mean, he was like the headmaster of the school.
Right.
So sorry, that's the coach at MCI.
MCI.
What was his name?
Max Good.
I said was, like he's
he's still.
But he's not the coach. Well, the program's no longer.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't exist anymore. But I'm telling you, I mean, it was crazy, because I was telling you before. In 2 years, I've never experienced this. The first year we went undefeated and we won the whole prep school championship. The second year we had Mike Williams from UMass, George Butler that went to Georgetown. Who else we had? We had a couple of other guys. We had Stanley Hamilton that went to Kansas. We used to call him Boss Man. He went to Oklahoma State. So we were stacked. We had like about 15 Division I players.
Wow.
And it was crazy because I was telling him, we went undefeated that year, and in the championship, we're losing to Lawrence Moulton, Conzo Martin, and Kenya Hunter, and some other cats. And we was like, nah, we can't. We're like undefeated, and you think we're gonna lose? We're gonna lose
the chip
today? And we was down 20.
What quarter was this?
It was halftime.
Oh.
And so he comes into the locker room, man, and he bangs on the actual like chalkboard, like boom, boom, and the whole room is fogged up. And chalk, and he just was reaming us out. I'm not even gonna go into what he was saying. And all of a sudden, them Lions woke up, and by the 10-minute mark, we was down 8.
Oh my God.
And that's all she wrote after that. Oh yeah, we put that clamp on him, and it was over. So in 2 years with 2 different groups, different personalities in both groups, and that a coach could get those results, I mean, it's amazing. So just my career in general, I didn't expect to experience that. Did I put the work in? Did he push me to put the work in? So it did happen, and but I'm still at all, because I'm like, I never thought I was gonna run into a person like this, and even to this day, I mean, when I run into ex-players that I didn't even have the chance to play with, the stories is about Jaime Peterson. So it's beautiful that he could actually share those stories about me, and I didn't even have the opportunity to play with those other guys that came after me. So
your coach Max, right?
Right.
What's his name? So Max used you as an example for the generations after you that he was able to coach.
I figured that because like I was telling you, I went to the Adidas Invitational, and the little kid, I forget his name, he played at Miami, little point guard from Baltimore. It'll come Norris or something. It'll come to me.
Norris?
Not Norris Cole. He was in Ohio.
That's what I was gonna say. Did he have a lot of hair?
He played for the University. I'm sorry, for Miami Heat.
No, Miami, the University of Miami.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He had he was from Baltimore. Yeah, I think you know.
It is that Norris.
No,
because he had mad hair.
No, that not Moochie Norris.
That's what I was thinking about. He played for the Houston Rockets.
Moochie played with me in Dominican Republic.
Oh wow,
yeah,
that's crazy.
He played with me in DR or something.
But he's not Dominican, right?
Nah.
Oh, okay, it's just coincidence.
No, we're gonna get into that.
He was playing as an American, but it was crazy because he winds up. We're in the middle of I think it was some downtown, Chelsea Piers, and we're there
for that invitational tour.
Yeah, so I was there with Ricardo Greer, Orlando was there, so a lot of New York ball players.
Orlando, Antigua,
right? So O was there, so I went down with his son. So we went down to see O, but Ricky was there, and then I ran into Red Audrey. So a lot of guys that I played ball with, they was like, "Oh man, Jaime, you should be coaching." So whatever, we're there, and it was beautiful because it's like I'm in one part of the court, and you start seeing everybody coming. So guys that I hadn't seen for like almost 20-something years, we were able to, break bread in that moment. And that brother comes and he goes, Max is on the phone, and he's already talking about, you remember this, blah, blah, blah. So I was telling you that he told me something that moved me, though, that I told you. He said that he doesn't know how much longer he's gonna be here. So I don't like really playing with that. I'll tell you that right now, but I know I'm gonna make a trip up there soon because I definitely gotta go see my boy. I haven't seen him since I left MCI.
Damn. How long ago was this phone call? Did this whole thing take place?
This was this summer.
This summer, okay.
So I was at that Adidas invitation.
Wow.
So he winds up calling Max and telling him, "You're not gonna believe who's here. Jaime Peterson is here next to me." So he passes the phone to me, and so we start going in, and he just
That's so cool.
So it was just like he touches me because I'm telling you, I wouldn't even be remotely the ball player I wanted to be. And I think that if he was my college coach, I would have been a pro.
Wow.
I would. I know I was a pro regardless of the circumstances. I went to a lot of NBA camps, and
let's clarify, because you definitely had a pro career. Yeah, when you say pro, you're referring to the NBA.
My junior year, I didn't really play that much, and I always used to sit down with my best friend, with Jerry McCullough, and always say like, "Yo, Ice, I think I should have just redshirted that year." And he was like, "Nah, because I felt like I could have played more, but I didn't." So it happened that my senior year, I remember Max sent me a letter, and he said, look, you gotta buy into what into this new system. You know, these guys are gonna be whatever, just buy into it. But the most important thing, I want you to get your degree. And I remember I had that letter posted up on my locker, so I would see it every day. And we spoke, and from there, Tom Cream asked me, he was like, look, you want to be the best center in the Big East? And it wound up happening, but since we had we didn't have a good season that year because Jerry got hurt.
Okay.
He blew his knee out. So we didn't have a true point guard. So
Jerry
McCullough.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's my best friend. That's my dude.
Dope.
Yeah.
Dope.
So, you know, I went to Pitt also because we had a lot of New Yorkers up there.
Okay.
I got along with Orlando. That's another brother.
Who was the point guard in your squad
that year?
Yeah.
Andre Orlich. He's from Queens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say who was the best player? Would you say was it on that team, on your team? At that time in Pitt?
By far, Ice, Jerry McCullough, yeah, by far. You know, that was our leader. I mean, I think to this day, if he doesn't get hurt my senior year, we both would have been pros.
Wow.
Yeah, by far.
Because the light would have been shining on
Pitt. Yeah,
it
would have been, because it would have been a different story. We lost at Pitt. We wound up losing in the Big East like 11 games by less than 1 to 3 points.
That's with him hurt.
So and it was crazy because if he's not hurt, I mean the assist to turnover ratio just dropped completely. So
that's crazy.
He was, you know, he could break a press by himself, you know. So a lot of teams knew that we didn't really have a true point guard. I'm not saying that Andre was not a true point guard, but he was thrown in the fire. And you know what I mean? When you throw in the fire, you can't be experimenting. So he did well. I mean, taking that role from who had it before him, he did a good job. You know what I mean? So not to take nothing away from him, he did a great job. But it wasn't Jerry, you know. Jerry would have made. I mean, I've seen Jerry carry teams on his back. So you know what I mean? So I mean, it was what it was. But I know that, and I also say that. If I had to do it again, I would have done it the same way. Yeah, I wouldn't change anything because I think then if I start doing that, then I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Right.
So you got a whole bunch of circumstances that stack the deck pretty significantly against you in your upbringing.
Right.
Not upbringing, but like your journey to college.
Right.
Most people would fail. And not because of those circumstances, but because in those circumstances, so like a group home, for example, the environment tends to be toxic in a lot of cases. Yeah. You were able to find people that had your back. You left your house. That could easily have gone the other way, but you ended up in a really nice home. Right?
And it's funny you say that, but Junior and Kikeja Monte, I gotta, you know, those. I was talking to his son earlier, so like. He saw it, and I'm thankful. Like even to this day, like those people, like they're like my second parents. Not taking nothing away from my parents or nothing, but like God just put them in my life, and if I didn't have them in my life, I don't even think I would be playing ball. Period.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah. It's an easy street to crazy town. You know what I'm saying?
Because that's what I want to know. Like when you went to these, especially the group home, how did you not like flip out or go crazy or let the environment kind of dictate your life basically?
Cause
you understand?
Cause it was more so like I was already into the ball.
Right.
It consumed me.
Oh, I see.
So it was just like
you became addicted to basketball.
Yeah, and then it was crazy because I would go to school and people wouldn't even know. Like, I mean, it was bad. It was. I remember one time I was on a train sleeping. I was like, well, I'm gonna go to school anyway. And I wouldn't tell nobody. I was like, well, it's gonna all work out. It's not a big deal. So
this is what you were saying.
It's gonna work out. So I said it's gonna.
Tell me. Just for the visual, you're sleeping on the train.
Yeah, it was. I told you I was gonna do something. If I tell a story for real, like, and then it's just like I tell you because I have this connection with you. To me, it doesn't really bother me telling you. Like before, maybe. I wouldn't give
you feel
information.
Or whatever,
But you know, I don't have to feel ashamed. I think that
you're not.
That it propelled me to a place that I'm like, you know, and it's like even I told my parents, I was like, I think that was the best thing I've ever did.
to tell them your experiences of like sleeping on the train, etc.
Yeah, like not even they don't even need to know that, but it's just like because I don't want to like even when I see my moms and my pops, like literally I try to get in their heads and say like, you didn't expect this. Mm-hmm. I know they didn't.
Right.
So to me it's beautiful because I could like, no, but it's all good. It was just part of the plan.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe they don't see it like that.
Right.
And so I do. You know what I mean?
So they might have some regrets or something.
Yeah, but I don't want them to ever feel that way.
That's beautiful, you know man. So that's beautiful.
I definitely don't. So when I say it that way, they don't probably understand that.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So they probably see it like, oh, and I think if they weren't the way they were with me, definitely like just being straight.
Yeah.
You know how Dominican parents are. They don't. I mean, nowadays, they loosen up a little. They loosen up because the system is on a lot of things that you need in your life. You know what I mean? If I don't think my parents were stern with me the way they were, I mean, like I would have been a piece of marshmallow. You know what I mean? I would have been soft. I wouldn't be. Not that I'm. When in the term soft, I think I'm a teddy bear within.
Got it.
But if I'm playing something or I'm doing something, I got a lot of passion. Mm-hmm. You may see something, but within there, the heart is soft.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I understand.
So I just think that it was important that I just went through all those ordeals and I could see that if I wasn't the way I was internally, I would have never ran into those type of people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it was great. It was on me, and those experiences they keep me going. Like you know what I mean? Like they enlighten me in a lot of ways, and then I say to myself, I have to do something to help kids in whatever way.
To try to pay it forward.
Yeah, I have to because it was done for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of hands that was involved in this whole process. So, you know what I mean? You can't sit back and say, oh, nah, I deserve that. Nah, I ain't deserve none of that. Right. You know what I mean? But it happened that way, so I'm always thankful for that.
That's I think that, I'm sorry, man. I think that's super dope. Like, the fact that you could even recognize that you had a gift sent to you or you had these people reach out to you. Because I'm going to be honest, I'm going to keep it a stack with you. Coming from the environments of where you come from, where we've come from, where we all come from, that's not normal for me. That's not normal to see people like you. Seriously. Straight up and down is not normal. Right. It's not like, oh yeah, I could, I go to my block right now and be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? That don't have that kind of quality. And I know what you're saying. And I believe me what I'm saying. I know what you're saying when it comes to Dominican parents raising you a certain way. But they still ended up being like whatever type dudes. See? So that's why I'm like, for you recognize that I think that blessing came to you. It is dope that you even paying it forward. So I want to commend you on that. I know I ran off on a tangent.
I appreciate you sharing that because not just, generally speaking, and this is something I'm learning as I get older.
Right.
When you speak about things that could potentially even have been traumatic to you, like those experiences for a lot of people, maybe even for yourself, cause some sort of trauma.
Right.
But you alleviate a lot of that as you tell that, and it's difficult to do.
Yeah.
But the value that it brings. So like we're in this forum. Hopefully, people around the world could be hearing this, and this can touch somebody in a way.
Of course. Definitely.
Because they see the product. I mean, you Google Jaime Peterson, and you see the love that people have all throughout your career. So there's a lot to be said about having those opportunities and you taking advantage of them. Right. So, I mean, I commend you, and I thank you very much for sharing
no problem. That was just something that I wanted to share with you because, there's sometimes that people, you may not say thank you to them.
Right.
And so this is the opportunity that I wanted to say thanks to all the people that had so much to do with me, being able to do the things that I did professionally or before that. Because they all had, it's like, for example, when you bake a piece of bread, right? There's no grain in there that's better than any other. They all have to be one so the bread could rise at the same level. Right. So just because I was the one playing the ball, but my parents, everybody else, they were all a piece of that puzzle. So, I'm so thankful for that God was able to put the right people in my life. Well, and it wasn't easy, though. And so
it definitely wasn't.
The beauty of it is that, it's all about the journey. It's not about who's stronger, who's faster. It's about enduring it. So this is what life is about.
Yo, man, give it up. Give it up for that. Dribble and Dimes, but only on Dribble and Dimes. I won't come at you for that, for real.
Like
for
we're
real.
not ending it, but
hell no, you ain't going nowhere.
Right there.
You might have to edit it and throw it in the back.
Chapter 2. So
Yo, that was super dope, man.
Yo, so Jaime, I mean, you touched on a bunch of different aspects so far. Is there anything more about your time at Pittsburgh? Because, all right, so my brother and I, we went to St. Raymond, right? St. Raymond High School. Orlando graduated from there.
Yeah.
I never had the pleasure of meeting him personally, but I know the legend of Orlando, right? His whole, like, he got shot story and how he left. Like, he was, especially coming out of St. Raymond's, like, he was, like, the basketball dude out of St. Raymond's when I was there.
Right.
And so him, Kareem Reed, Terrence Rencher, those are, like, the big names that were at that time. And so I literally, when we met up the other day, it's when I put the piece together. And I was like, holy shit, you played with him. I didn't know that at the time, right? And then Ricardo came after you guys. Right. And like, there's a lot of cool cats that came through Pitt.
Right.
That's dope.
So I'm sure, you mentioned your man Ice, like the history that Pitt has and just your guys' involvement in it. Like, what would you, if you had to condense it all, like, what was your journey through Pitt like?
Well, I think I remember my recruiting process. I remember that I was at a junior college, Champlain College in Vermont.
Okay.
So I remember that I was saying to myself, look, I think I'm gonna sign early. And so at the time, I remember I took an unofficial visit to Pitt. And
was that legal based on NCAA standards?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
You could take unofficial visits. Okay. So I just went, and I remember the guys. I mean, it was like a family though. As soon as I touched down, it was like coming up in the Heights. You know what I mean? Like family. You know, you move here, you know somebody here. It was just something that I was like, well, we have that in Pittsburgh. I don't have to be in New York. I could be in Pittsburgh, and it's gonna be like this. So I remember that I was getting recruited, and I was like, you know something? At the time, I met a girl at Pitt. This was the one I told you I was going to make my wife, Nakia Travis.
Ow!
Yeah, so at the time, I met her, and I remember that she came up to Vermont, and
Wait, you met her on the unofficial visit?
Yeah.
She was already at Pitt?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we was kicking it, and then it was crazy because I was like, I'm going to take the visit to Pitt. And so I did, and it was great. And I already kind of knew I was going there.
Yeah.
Because I didn't take all 5. So I went to Nebraska where Danny Nee was at, and then Pete Gittin was at Xavier when Xavier was stacked, when they had Brian Grant.
Oh,
and they had Aaron Williams.
Yes.
So when they were stacked, so they wanted me bad. And I remember I was on a recruiting trip with Charles Jones.
Oh, okay.
And so Charles tells this story all the time. So we're eating, right? And they asked Charles, what do you think about your whole visit? He was like, oh, whatever. And then they asked me, and I was like, well, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to Pitt.
he was trying to keep it low key.
Yeah.
You were like, I'm
going to Pitt.
Right.
I'm going to Pitt. I mean, I didn't take that other 2 visits because I was like, they're gonna wine me and dine me, but in all reality, I gotta earn my spot.
Right.
So I already know, I knew the foolishness already. I mean, they're gonna wine you and dine you, feed you for 2 days, this, that, whatever, and then it was redundant because you could see it. Right. That was what everyone was doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I wound up going back to Pitt again. I went to go see.
Hold on. What was their reaction when you said, I'm going to Pitt?
Oh, he bugged out.
What's that? What he said? He turned red.
Yo, like, how did you know?
He's white.
He turned red. They was like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, that's what
no one's ever said that in the history of their...
I'm done. You actually
take me out of the circus, man. I'm
out of here. So I already knew when I went to Xavier, because Jose Rio, he the Dominican pitcher, he was real cool. We was real cool with one another because when I used to play in DR, he used to come see me. And they knew I was cool with him. So they try to have, Jose. I'm like, listen, man, I'm not coming.
Right.
I didn't see myself at Xavier.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was a small school. It was a good program.
Yeah.
But I wanted to always play in the Big East. You know what I mean? I was always a Big East guy.
Right.
And growing up here,
Seeing
in the 80s,
Ewing
bro.
and all that.
Ewing,
Yo,
I used
dog.
to
Chris
love
Money,
Derrick Coleman,
Mark Jackson.
It was beautiful. And so I wound up going to Pitt, and it was amazing, man. If I had to do, I wish I would have went there for 4 years, and things didn't work out that way. But the 2 years that I was there, the love was the cement of everything. And we all loved each other. To this day, you're all
tight.
Yeah, we're all tight. We may not see nothing, we may not see each other often, but like, and then I was the super corita, like I was the. You know what I mean? I sparked everything.
The spark, yeah.
So I mean, if we went to student union parties, I set it off. I remember we had I'll never forget. We had what was the name of it? A talent show, and we came in second. Cause one of my boys was rapping. So me, you know Oliver Antigua? He was the other dancer and I was the other dancer. Remember when the purple? Remember when the tassel leather jackets was out? I had a purple one.
Time out. Yeah, I have footage of this. Is that video?
I'm trying to see
You better go find that footage.
I need to get that footage.
You know what? We can recreate it too. We'll find some purple.
We're gonna recreate this shit. Yeah, los soltaste.
Yo, but it was amazing. I remember we could have won the whole thing, but one of our boys, he had a 40 bottle on stage.
Oh my God.
And then a fake gun. I was like, what are you doing? So
he NWA'd it?
Yeah, it was horrible. But we wound up finishing in second. So it was great though. It was great.
So wait, so you weren't rapping, you was dancing?
No, I was the dancer, yeah. That was more
you had
my
Heavy
lane.
D and y'all were the boys?
Yeah, kind of something like that. But it was my experience at Pitt was amazing. Even though we had the transitioning of the new coach, we always, even with the new coach coming in, or when Evan was there, when Coach Willard came, it was great because regardless of what was going on, we was always tight.
So that right there, you hit it on the head, like the culture, right? The culture sustained even through that transition.
Right.
And so that's what I feel is so vibrant about, even to this day, where a lot of people will say New York basketball culture is very different nowadays,
right.
Which I think is normal as generations evolve. You have differences. But the culture, for the most part, is still something that's different than other places.
Oh, of course.
And so that, like, the and I mentioned this to you, like, and I said this in the last episode too, but it just is so crazy to me how competitive the younger generation is right now. Say what you want about what music they listen to or whatever, right. But like, yo, we were at St. Raymond's for New York versus Philly tournament.
Right.
Yo, every sophomore, juniors, seniors, all of them cats, the camaraderie, the competitiveness, like, right. It was just something, this special energy
right.
that came out of that. And you know, you hit it on the head, which is something that why you gravitated to Pitt.
Yeah.
But you also, I think you mentioned this, but there was a very significant New York vibe across that team as well.
Yeah, and it was great because most of those cats was real cool cats. Like, it was humble, you know what I mean? No one acted like they were, and we was all tight though. It was, I can't really explain it. We was all tight. You know, if something popped off with one of our girlfriends, we was already gonna hold down the fort. Nah, you know what I mean? So we had each other's back, you know what I mean? So it was, you know, it was like I said before, if I had to do this again, I would go right through Pitt, you know what I mean? That they don't embrace ex-players like they should. You know, like, to be honest, like I was telling you before, that whole Dominican stuff, I don't want to say, but I had a lot to do with that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so to see that there's no more Dominican ball players coming to Pitt, it's sad though. You know, so where did that end? You know what I mean? So I would love to do something like that for somebody, like, you know what I mean? Develop, like I told you, I'm starting to do that now. But it was so sad that, you know what I mean? We started that, and then you see the Ricardo Greers, the Ronald Ramones. And like even Ricky did his thing at Pitt. You know what I mean? I remember when I was at Ricky's house and he was like,
Wait, for the listeners,
Ricardo Greer.
Right.
So I remember I was in his house and he was like, I'm going to Pitt. So I'm like,
off the strength of y'all, right?
Yeah,
like,
I was always in his house.
Right.
And I used to get a haircut with the same barber, so we became really tight. So you know, he looked, even, I told you the other day, he was like, I'm so thankful that you was in my life at an early age.
That's dope.
You know, so those are my little worlds, them kids, you know, because they trusted, you know, if I told them anything, they took it to heart. They knew I wouldn't lead them wrong, you know what I mean? So it was great just to see him go there and just do what he did, you know what I mean? And then Ronald came after, you know, Orlando was coaching there at the time, so it was good though. It was just, it's sad that now that you look at it, we started something like that. And then it really took me a year. It took me. I did that in 1 year because that's when I had my senior year. That's when I really blew up. That's when I finished. I was second team All Big East, but I was telling you because of the losses, it wouldn't even look good if they would have put me first team. But the numbers was for that because I averaged 14, 10, and 2.
Most decorative Band-Aid right there. Yes, looks like he graduated from Top Rank Boxing right under Big East Hoops here on ESPN. Peterson completes the three-point play, and Pittsburgh is again up by 2.
Wow.
So, you know what I mean?
You had the stats for it.
The stats was there, but you know what they're going to really look at is the record
of the team.
You know what I mean? Like, so, whatever. So, that's here and all there, but I mean, the experience, I mean, my last year at Pitt, we had the fifth best recruiting class in the country. So to put the icing on the cake on the question you asked me before, what was the glue of me going to Pitt? It was the love. So we have Vontigo Cummings, he came there, Rick, Vontigo, Mark Blunt. So those two guys went to the pro.
Yeah.
So Kelly Taylor, so with the team we had, even though we didn't do on paper, we didn't do well, but the love we gave, you know, the love they felt when they went there, you know, a lot of those kids signed because of that.
That's good.
That's dope. I mean? Yeah, you basically paved the way. You was a pioneer.
Yeah. So it was great though. It's just like a lot of people don't. You know, a lot of people don't really think about it. If love is not a part of the equation, it doesn't. It's like I tell a lot of people and I speak to young kids. I said, look, when you go into school, you gotta look at it like this. And I'm sorry that people don't get offended, but it's pure slavery because you're getting the scholarship, but you're really getting the scholarship to maintain that person's job. So he's really bringing you in based on like, I'm going to be able to uphold this job if I can glue all these pieces together. But in all reality, is they're really loving that. You're not really giving me a scholarship because, you know what I mean? Like for your good, for my own, for my own well-being. It's like, all right, I'm going to give him a scholarship because he does that well. And so he may behave well. Right. I don't know that, but they say he's a good kid.
Hey, everybody. This is Emilio the Poet, debuting my spoken word poetry book, I'm a Poet and You Know It. Volume 1. As one reader called it, it's the best I've read since Maya Angelou. So come, see what all the fuss is on I'm a Poet and You Know It, Volume 1. Available on Amazon.com and via Instagram at Emilio_the Poet. Thank you much. Doodaloo!
You know, it's like when I talk to kids, I'm like, look, I've been through so much with this basketball that I don't need to hide those things to kids. Like, you know, I need to tell them, look, whenever you go to a school, you gotta know when you go there, you gotta be the best person, you gotta be the best student, and you're gonna have to be the best athlete that you can be while you're there, and be a team player. Because if you can't do those things, you're not gonna be there. Right. Period. There's no point. They're not gonna bring you, and they bring you there for that. And so, if you in your mind you don't think those things, and then you don't live them out, and now it's just different. Now they give you a year. They sign you to go to school there. But then I guess they every year they can choose to renew you. They renew your scholarship. So if you didn't live up to expectations, like back in the days,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so back in the days, if you signed somewhere, you were there. Right. For the 4 years. Right. So whether your ass was on the bench or whatever, you take the coach off, he couldn't get rid of you, you was there. So now it's different. Yeah,
I did not know that. That's crazy.
Now it's different.
So you actually bring up an interesting vantage point about the game, college game, and like how it's similar to slavery. What would you say about the state of college basketball now, where there's this movement to try to get kids paid and all that? Do you think that's a pro or a con?
I mean, they make so much money off just TV.
Yeah.
That you might as well. I think that what you should do is, so people don't get offended. Are you just gonna do it for every college athlete, or you're just gonna do it for basketball?
Right.
Because it depends on the revenue,
Right.
It's because it's really based on revenue. So if you're looking at a Big East team, a lot of Big East teams, they make, for example, the reason why the Big East broke up, it was because basketball was the revenue.
Right.
Football wasn't. So they was like, whoa, we got these big stadiums. So they broke, and then it was it's probably the best league in college basketball by far. If you can play in the Big East, you're a pro.
Right.
I don't give a damn what nobody said. You're a straight pro.
You still think that's true now?
Of course.
Okay.
I mean,
But the Big East has changed now.
It's changed. It's broken up, but you see who's winning. Villanova's. Villanova. We gotta keep it official though. You know what I mean? They gotta break something they gotta break up something that's good.
I do agree with you. I think it's always been prestigious. It's always been legendary.
Yeah.
Like every time you turn around, Big East is always.
We in the mix.
Always.
We always in the mix.
Always.
I don't care what you say.
There's names for
always
things.
in the mix.
That's a good point.
Always. So my thing is with this is just that, all right, if it's gonna be basketball, but then people are gonna feel away, oh, why only basketball?
Yeah.
So if you're gonna do it, right? If you're gonna do it, if they went there for whatever amount of years, you give them a certain amount. You know what I mean? You can't touch this till you get to this age.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And you have it there. Because, you got to think about it. Imagine if I would have went to school and I had to... Look, my brother went to Cornell and Harvard.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So,
Free rides?
Well, I think he got...
partial.
But I know the Harvard stuff was...
Taken care of.
Yeah. He got a scholarship for that.
Yo, but if it wasn't for that, bro, that's a tough cookie.
But just imagine me going to prep school. It was $45,000 for 2 years. I don't know where that money came from, but I didn't disappoint him.
Right.
Then I said to myself, if I do get this college scholarship, I definitely can't disappoint nobody, or more so myself.
Of course.
So you gotta look at it like, if you don't have the abilities and you can't recognize the abilities within yourself, and you want to go and pay to go to school, mind you, you've been going to school for free this whole time.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you got to make this transition that I want to go to this school and I got to pay. But my parents don't have the money to pay for me to go to school, but I want to go to school. So they set you up mean here, man. They're like, oh, you got to take out some loans. Todo el tinglao, mi hermano.
You talking to a cat that's still paying them joints.
But let me.
My UMass money is still long, kid. I went to UMass. Obviously, didn't play any ball. Recreationally, killed it.
Oh, did you?
No, I didn't. But I gotta hype myself up.
But I'm still sizing you up though.
But check this out.
I'm sizing you up.
I go on campus last year. Right? I go on campus. It was like 5 years before. I try to go back on my little pilgrimage because I really appreciated the time I spent out at UMass. And I'm walking around the campus and I see all these luxurious buildings popping up and I'm like, fuck me. Like every dollar I send you motherfuckers, here it is. And I can't, the buildings when I was there, old and decrepit.
So you had the 2 projects, right? You lived in the 2 projects?
Nah, Southwest, I didn't live out there. I knew not to be there because I wasn't playing ball. So I had to do the academic thing heavy.
Right.
I stayed up in like, they call it Sylvan. It was up in like where engineers were.
Okay.
Because I started out as a computer engineer.
Okay.
And then had to switch up. But but that's where all the parties was.
Really? I know that.
I do agree with, it depends on the revenue that the particular sport at the particular school.
Exactly.
So that's how they divvy it up. Because I've had this conversation off air with friends, and they would be like, "Yo, are you gonna give it to everybody football?" I'm like, "Yo, it depends on the school. It depends on what they getting."
Because but I like what he said though. What Jaime said, like if you situate an amount and then you put a target date against it. You're like, yo, when you get to this milestone, then you can get that break.
What do you mean?
So, for example, let's say you played whatever at Pitt. I played at Pitt, right? And
2 years.
2 years, and then you based it on. If they want to base it on what did you do in those 2 years? Like at Pitt, I'm in the top in the 100 best players that played at Pitt.
Ever.
So yeah,
That's
so
dope.
if we want to base it on that, I must have did something.
Right.
And so then other cats, whatever, Charles Smith, whatever. But so let's say, just so people don't, like for example, I always say this. The one thing that brings in jealousy and people feel a certain way, it's like, for example, if you go to class, right, but you're a shy student, you're introverted, you don't do well in groups, and I wouldn't even put a grade system. My thing is for them to understand the material.
Got it.
Right.
So now, that shouldn't count against him because of that, right?
Right. So if you're gonna give somebody something, whether they played or not, with all the money the universities make, right, just give them the same amount.
Yeah.
You mean all across the board, everybody gets the same?
Yeah.
stipend?
Just give. So if Charlie did his thing in his era, and you just so whatever you guys know is a good amount, then you guys are not gonna suffer because they don't suffer.
Right. No, they won't suffer.
So that's what I'm saying. You give those guys that amount, and then you say, at this particular time in your life, you can take that money and use it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Listen, let me say something to you guys, all right? Because I feel really like we trying to like feel bad for the NCAA.
No, I don't feel bad.
No, let me tell you something. They make billions of freaking dollars, man. Cough it up.
Yeah, I don't feel
and let me say this. Let me say this real quick, and this is really where I'm at with it. The real reason I got even into this conversation originally was because of football. Right? A lot of people I've met over the years was like broken up by the time they graduated because they broken knees, ankles, their backs. So it's not like regular whatever. So even though they move on to their lives, they never really move on like you and I because they're broken up. Their bodies are not the same. So what do they have to show for it? You know, if not for at least a stipend, you know what I mean, or something.
No, I think they should bread them up.
That's what I'm saying. And I feel like, yo, like, crossover, Jalen Rose on TV on ESPN, he mentioned something like he would have to like sell little like Nintendo cartridges or some craziness like that. And I'm like, yo, bro, this guy went to the freaking Michigan Wolverines. This guy was like a known dude. And you make him, yo, they were selling like figurines of the Fab Five and the jerseys. Come on, bro. Like,
timeout t-shirts.
Come on.
Chris
like,
Webber
yes, like they milk the cow, bro.
They milk. So my point, the whole thing is, that's why I say it's slavery.
Yeah.
And so this is what it is. So for example, with all these allegations about these major teams, this is what's gonna happen. If, for example, a lot of that stuff that happened with Michigan State, that shit is thrown under the rug.
Right.
So this is what they do. It's like, for example, you take Europe, they got the Champions League, right? If they don't have Madrid, Barcelona, they don't have Bayern Munich, and these teams, these are the teams. So all that money is what moves things. So the same thing with these programs. If they see that they start hitting these programs hard for the stuff that they do, then it's gonna collapse. You feel me?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's what people don't see. It's gonna collapse. So now
that's
so
crazy.
now so look, let me tell you something. It's funny, we talked about this, right? The truth is simple. And it's not where it's not in the direction everybody's moving. So the truth is where you're gonna see 5, 6, 7 people. And what's not true, you're gonna see thousands of people just flocking. You're gonna be like, yo, and you don't even know where you're going, kid.
Right.
So it's the same thing with this. It's just they know that if they hit too hard, it's gonna shatter. It's already at the point of shattering. And they're so close that they're like, no, we gotta get a hold of it. We gotta get a hold of this. So now they trying to bring down the hammers on certain people and so on and so forth. But they the real. So for example, you want a kid, right? And you know, right, that the kid he's in a condition that for him to go to your school nowadays, you gotta wet their pocket. Cause now they know how crooked it is.
Yeah, they're conditioned now.
It's right. So it's funny, the other day I'm in the juice bar, right? And this judge comes in, right? And so we told him, look, right now we're not accepting credit cards because guys, you know how they come with fake credit cards at home. So the scam. So we said we shut it down for a little bit, but we'll be back up in a few. And the guy goes, imagine if the guy that's doing that in this juice bar comes up in front of the judge, in front of me. What do you think I should do? I said, well, this is what I think you should do. right? This is what I think you should do. Where do you think he got this from?
Right.
Where do you think he got this from? Right. You guys.
Right.
He got it from the system. So what you're gonna do is let him go. He got it from you guys. What do you mean? What's gonna happen?
What did the judge tell you?
He just looked at me. He was like, "You always gotta." I was like, "Yo, it's my brother."
You set him up.
Yeah, you setting him up for the kill. For example, I remember when I was a kid, the cable. Remember the hot box?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hermano, everybody had hot box.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everybody
had a hot box.
I know what he's talking about.
So
I know what he's talking about.
So I'm laughing because I'm like, look. So how do you think that hot box became a hot box?
Right.
Somebody from within leaked something out.
Yeah. Set it up. Message.
So the whole thing is a leak. So they're gonna. It's like with everything. If I could put a patch on it and not let you know that it's happening, because somebody's gonna open their mouth.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's funny, they put all these stipulations, all these rules, like, oh, you can't give the kid this. I remember when I was at Pitt, I ate, but once the cafeteria was closed, my moms ain't had no bread like that. So it was just like, luckily I had a girl that.
You can throw down.
Yeah, she was good though, you know what I mean? So if I needed something, it was cool. But I'm like, you in school, let's say you at a 4-year school and you come from a background home where your mom's is working but your father doesn't work. Yeah. And like, how you think this? And you got other brothers and sisters?
No.
You know what I mean? Right. So you gotta think about that. And so a lot of people, it's just straight slavery, dude. Yeah. Just straight. When you really look at it, and then it's funny, look, when we talk, it's funny, I'm going to mention it. I get so pissed off when I talk about Pitt. Because the stuff that I did there, and the other cats that follow behind me, like, they don't even embrace us, though.
They don't even know that you guys exist. The university just
they don't embrace us. Like,
do you even have your jerseys hung up anywhere around there?
I don't know if they, but it's just like, it's funny because they don't have none of that. So my thing is like, I don't really care too much about that. I already know what I did at Pitt.
Yeah.
So I'm good with that. But just like they don't have that cohesiveness with maybe with some players they do, but the guys that came after these other guys, I'm like, well, Charles Smith, he played all right. Big deal. Yeah. What's the big deal?
Yo, can I ask you a question? Like, because this is, I see what you're saying, but I feel like there's a couple of things in play when it comes to that, in my opinion. I don't know this for a fact, but you're going to fill me in. Yeah. For example, let's say the president of the school, right? I don't know if the president from the time you've played to now they've changed, right? Yeah. So I'm assuming that there's a lot of different people in place to where they affect that kind of power, that kind of change. Right. My advice maybe is that you get the group, as many formed alumni that you guys have, and just like send them one letter.
Just roll up on campus.
Or be like, no, and it sounds like maybe because
amazing idea.
And I really think that because sometimes people are just not. They don't know. Like it could be a dude that came out of, I don't know, Kansas. He don't know shit about Pitt or you or whoever because he's just doing his job, getting his money. But there's a history there that if at least y'all reached out, you know what I mean. Even if y'all rejected it initially, at least y'all y'all putting in your. Because I think you should be recognized. And it's not just for you, it's for those people behind you that you've already affected, but that gives you that stamp of approval, like, yo, oh yeah, that's what we was talking about. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like, because we got to dig you up in Google, but it shouldn't have to be like that.
And it's whack, because I see these other programs, like, if the North Carolina, and you see that they embrace their former players. Yeah. And like, it's funny though, the other day I went to a Pitt game, right? And the dude saw me, and I don't know if he was there when I was there, but he recognized me right away. I was sitting with Brandon Knight.
Nice.
And I was saying what's up to the secretary, Beth. She's so cool and she's a sweetheart. And I'm like, yo, so I was like, Beth, I need some. So I guess the guy saw me standing, and I didn't have no Pitt gear on. So he was like, Beth, let me know what's his size. I'm like, yeah, lace me up, though. You know what I mean? Lace me up. I did a lot for this kid. You know what I mean? Like, it should be a problem. Like, if I need some gear. You know how many kids I say here?
Yeah. That's what's up.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's kind of whack. Like, you brought me here, but then now that I'm done, you drop me like an egg.
But it goes back to what you were saying earlier about scholarships, man. Like, it's like, yo, but you're there to make them look good as much as you can, because you can do a job and see you later.
That's what it is.
Yo, so I think the new head coach is Jeff Capel, right?
Capel, yeah.
So I bet you he seems like the type of person that could make that change.
But it's funny you say that, because I called Beth and I was like, Beth, what's up, the secretary? And I said, yo, how's the situation with you? Oh, I'm good, I'm gonna be here. But I know he would love you, Jaime.
I think,
go reach out.
I don't know him from a can of paint, but
reach out.
He seems to me like that kind of person.
Reach out, yo, reach out.
I'm definitely gonna do that.
Yo,
reach out, yo.
I'm a Dribble and Dimes is gonna reach out.
No, not only that, and we going to that game with you, bro.
And all 3 of the listeners that are listening to us.
And I want my jersey.
I got you.
I want my jersey. I want Pitt tickets. Yo, I look good in Pittsburgh here, no?
That blue joint? What?
Yo, I look good in Pittsburgh here.
Yo, but wait. So we kind of getting off track. I want to talk about, so you finish at Pitt.
Right.
What was the next phase of your basketball journey?
Well, so after I finished at Pitt in '95, this is what blew my mind. I was like, damn, I'm done. Mm-hmm. So Tom Crean was like, look, you got a lot of, because he was my assistant coach, Tom Crean.
Tom Crean, okay.
You know, that was Dwayne Wade's coach at Marquette.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So he was my dude. So
that's dope.
When it came to my, like, after my season was done, I played at the NBC All-Star game at the Final Four. Okay. And that was in Seattle. And it was cool because out of the 20 players there, 15 of them went pro. So I was always like baffled by that, like how I'm not. So I was always yeah. So whatever. So Tom was like, look, man, a lot of people are calling me about you, blah blah blah, this and that. So I went to Portsmouth. It didn't go well because I just had a bunch of gunners. Yeah, I had dudes just, and then I saw.
And you were back to the basket, defensive dude.
Yeah,
right?
so I could score down low, but it was just crazy because I think if I would have been on a team where guys were more, they played together regardless of the spectrum we were in. Yeah. Because there was every NBA team was there. And so, to me, I was like blown a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, what's going on? The agents are trying to get, like, yo, this shit was a meat market. It was like slavery. Like, all right, so
at the next level.
On the next level. So this is what I'm telling you. It's not an easy task, B. You got like these dudes just like salivating for you, and you're like, yo, like shit is weird. You know what I mean? Yeah. So whatever. I didn't expect it, so I was really like in awe about the whole thing. Like, yeah, whatever.
I thought you were saying you were in awe about the caliber of people around. You're talking about the flow of the whole thing.
Yeah, like everybody's looking at like, oh, I gotta impress this dude. Yeah. Like I'm just trying to play ball. Right. And it'd be cool if I could play ball with these guys that I never met before. Because I've done it before with other guys and I've done well. But that was not the case. So the case was like, damn, dude, these dudes is going dolo.
And they're all for self,
For selves, because they really trying to. So I was like, whatever. So I wind up signing with this agent. Guys took out of Boston, Jewish dude, because I was like, I told you I wanted to go small, whatever. Yeah. But the one I should have signed was with Bill Duffy. That was J Kidd's agent. So I wound up signing with him, and I wound up going to my first year to Gravelines in the north of France. Oh man. Whew. Yeah, yo. No, yeah. Parlez-vous français?
Parlez-vous français?
Not even a little bit.
So it was crazy because my roommate was James Scott. He went to St. John's.
Okay.
He played with Felipe, the other wing player from Patterson.
Okay.
He went to school with Tim Thomas.
Oh.
So it was great because I had him, but like just the experience there was like, yo, if I could finish this whole season here, and then the team was horrible. Like we were in last place.
Trash.
But I did well. I did well, and that was the year of the lockout. Okay. So I got to play against George Mirasan.
Oh
yeah, he dunked it on me like about 10 times. I looked like a little kid hanging on his waist. One time he dunked it on me, I was like, yo, come on, that's not even fair. Like,
wait, was it like nuts in the face type of shit?
Wow, homeboy, it was disgusting, man. I was like, That ain't cool, B.
Yo, Eastern European, nothing to face.
What, homeboy? Yo, and then he was the coolest dude too. Remember something? Yeah, dope. He had touch. He was mad cool, and it was. I remember I was like, my roommate was like, "Oh, I'm leaving." I'm like, "Well, you can leave. I've already been here that long. I'm not going. I'm gonna finish it out." So I wound up finishing out, and it was good. And then that following summer, San Antonio invited me to summer league at the Rocky Mountain Review, and I told you I led that in rebounding by minutes, so it was great. And then Dallas brought me in, then I was the last cut at Dallas.
That's when you were with Jamal Mashburn, Jason Kidd,
Jimmy Jackson, and then my big brother George McLeod, the shooter.
Nice.
Then my boy D Harp. Then
Derek Harper.
Yeah, who else?
You used to D Harp lent you his whip.
Oh, Daddy, I was flossing though. Yo, he gave
Tell
me
that story.
He gave me a drop top Mercedes. I was driving his remember back in the days, what was those trucks that were
Hummer?
No, it was not a Hummer. It was the Land
Rover?
The Land Cruiser.
The Land Cruisers? The
PT Cruiser.
I had the black. Remember those?
Yeah.
I had that. I was just doing my thing though. And they just had love for me though. I felt like I was a vet. But you know that he connected with me. That's all it was. It was more so look. And it was funny because dudes was hating.
What, on the team or in general?
Well, because understand, it's camp.
It's camp. But
and he's connected with you, and you and I barely on the team.
I mean, I'm not even on the team. I wound up getting cut the last week. Right. But before that, like I remember, like if we had to meet in the airport, I wouldn't go because there was a van for everyone that didn't have a car. So Harper's like, "Yo, Pops," because he used to call me Pops. He was like, "Yo, here's the keys. When I need the car, you bring it." Well, I was chilling, B, and it was cool. Like it was not a big deal. Like I wasn't flossing, and I wouldn't even pull it out. You know, if I was gonna go somewhere, I would go.
For the shorties, not for the shorties.
Nah, I mean, we went to a couple of spots. So I pulled up. That came out of me quick, and that thing, that's what it was too. They loved that I kept it always New York. You know what I mean? And it was cool. It was But the vets, they really loved me. My big brother G, I love him. He was very influential in my life just when I started my pro career because he was always there for me.
You talking about George McLeod?
Yeah, he always like, if when I came from Europe, I would always go up either to Dallas. I always had the keys to the pad. That was my safe haven, B.
That's so dope.
Yeah, I love that dude. So make sure we get
big him up.
Yeah, big him up. That's my
George McLeod, man.
That's
what's up.
That's my big brother. When things got thick, you know what I mean. I remember I got released from the CBA because a couple of guys got cut because that year before they won the championship. So Chanel Scott and Ty Lindemann, I guess they got released. So they brought me in, and the coach. One thing I could say about Tyler, he kept it official with me. He was like, "Jaime, as soon as we get an opening, we'll
call you back.
We'll call you back." And so I was just going through a lot of things at the time because I was like, in this game, it's so dirty though. There ain't really no loyalty in this shit though. None at all. Like that's why a lot of people don't really understand that part of it. It's like it's real dirty. It ain't as genuine and as clean as you see it. You know what I mean?
And I wanted to ask you about that because it felt like you got cut from Dallas, but do you feel like politics played a role?
Well, like I was telling your brother with this agent though, so when I got cut there, you know when you in something that you don't really, not that I didn't feel like I belong, but I'm like, yo, this is happening with me, so I'm in it like, but like, wow, like nah.
Like on a cloud.
Yeah, like on a cloud, so I was telling your brother, I never forget, I'm balling though, and I'm seeing guys getting cut. I'm seeing guys getting cut, leaving a physical, because they do a thorough physical. Like, they'll know if you had an injury like a year ago, 2 years ago. They was cutting dudes off of that.
That's crazy.
So they touch the court.
Yo, they don't even touch the court. So I remember Fred Roberts comes in. I'm like, this dude doing. I don't care either because I'm trying to get at him too. So whatever, he's here. So people was like, so I remember one day we was practicing at SMU and they played a trick on me. They was like, yo, they calling you in the office. So when they call you in the office, They're gonna chop your head off. So I went up in there. I was like, yeah, they told me you was y'all call me in. But ain't y'all whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? We going in here and oh no, just get dressed for practice. You know, whatever. Y'all was retarded. Like, why would you make me go in there? So my heart was pumping. I was like, damn, you don't tell me, B. Not right now. This is starting to get good. So whatever in the practice gym, I blocked Montrose shot. So he felt the type of way.
Eric Montrose.
Okay.
Former North Carolina guy.
He grabs it. I remember I beat it up. He gets it because he's wider than me. And
he's what?
He's wider than me.
Okay.
Yeah, he's bigger than me, wider. So he grabs it. I'll never forget. So I'm on this side. He throws his elbow. I'm like, oh, nah, B. Like, I know this dude just ain't hit me with that bow. So, you know, I don't pay it any mind, but I'm like, something ain't right. So I'm going a week. I did another week, and I remember I had a pad on it. So I'm like, I'm not trying to let that be noticed that I'm going through that. So whatever, I wound up they called me in the office, and I remember everybody was in the locker room. Jay Kidd, everybody was tight. They was like, oh man, we can't believe why they cut him? I remember Jay Kidd was like, they was like, oh, bring your jersey back. Cause if not, it's like death. If you.
Jay Kidd tell you that?
No, the people of the team, they was like, you can't keep the jersey. They was like, at least let him keep his damn jersey.
So the jersey that you gave me,
the practice one, or you talking about the official?
The official.
Oh,
the official. So you got my practice
one.
one.
Yeah.
So he so the guys were a little upset, and then like cause then now I'm staying with George. So after I got released. George is like my big brother. Like he's like, all right, wherever you go, before you go wherever you going. I remember he told me, yo, you can stay here with me. You ain't gotta go nowhere, dude. You just gotta wait and see what's Trust me, I had a lot of angels on my hip.
Wow. Yo, that's what's up.
Yo, I'm telling you, like, your luck streak,
that's so dope, man.
Yeah, so I've had a lot of dudes like to this, like inside it breaks me because I'm like, yo, I don't really deserve all that. So.
You know what though? I don't know if this is the case, man. I'm gonna throw it out there. Maybe your parents or somebody prayed for you heavy, bro.
Yeah,
like,
so
I don't know.
So it must have been some heavy prayers because I'm telling you, I remember when I got released. It was already there anyway too, cause he just the way you know what I mean, the way I move, and then he just loved the way, I always remember George and D Hart would say, we love the way you go, cause you go hard, B. You know what I mean? And so that they gravitated towards me because of that. You know what I mean? And so it was like I always used to be like, but why? Well, whatever. I didn't know the answer to it, but I said it has to be me. Something about me is that they gravitate to me. So whatever. To make the long story short, we're there in the gym and we're like shooting around, and I'm still around the guys because I'm there, and they pulled me to the side. It was like, look, whenever you're at vet camp, you're not supposed to get cut if you get injured.
And then you just got your box rocked by Eric Montrose.
So I'm like, yo, so if you get injured, so I'm like wondering how they still sending me money if I already got cut. So now it made sense to me. So one dude that's an agent was like, come over here, let me speak to you. Boom, 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 and he told me. He said, you better call your agent and tell your agent that you're not supposed to get released, but he should know that.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, what do you mean?
Why do I gotta tell him?
Yeah, so I mean, you should be on. So then George is like, yeah. So they all telling me this, cause I don't really know about contracts like that. So I figured it out. I said, yo, I'm gonna call this brother. So I called him. You know what this dude had the audacity to tell me? He says, yeah, it's true. And by the way, we didn't want to tarnish our relationship with the Mavericks. So basically, you telling me I ain't good enough.
Wow. Busted, bro.
The business.
Yeah, so
he used you as a scapegoat.
Yeah, basically. So I was like, yo, so if they would have left me to recuperate that time my ribs there and I get it shaved and I'm working out with it, I know I would have made that team. Easy.
But you think that at that moment in time when the cut happened, your ribs played a role in the way it affected your game?
Yeah, it affected my game, but it was just not that. I think that if I went that far, if anybody goes that far, I think after like week 3, and then we had Jim Clemens, and then we didn't have no real general manager there. Like Jim Clemens is Phil Jackson's. Like,
yes. Yes.
So it was his first time as a coach. I didn't think he was a good coach.
I remember, you know what I mean? They were trash. Dallas was trash at that time. I remember that.
I mean, you got all that talent and you don't know what to do with it.
So let me ask you a question. If you were cut, who was the last person that made the route?
So you know who made it? Eric Strickland, the little guard from Nebraska.
Lefty. Stocky dude.
So it was me, E Strick. So it was crazy. Nah, he's solid. You know what I mean? E Strickland was solid.
Nah, he was alright because you was supposed to make it.
Yeah, but
it was alright.
It was whack because I was like, dang, dude, like, how you gonna tell somebody that?
But real quick though, did they need a guard or a center or like did need play a role?
But so I think this is what it was when they brought Fred Roberts in. Fred Roberts was on his tail end of his career. Okay. You know, he won with the Celtics.
Right.
Yo, look. All that shit is a fraternity, B. Yeah. And so depending if you fit that mold, that's what it's gonna be.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? A lot of people don't really know that. And so if someone winds up liking you, like San Antonio told me straight up and down, we love you, Jaime, but we brought you here so people could get a good look at you, but we don't have room for you.
San Antonio.
Yeah, you know, so I already knew what was going on. So he didn't have to tell me, the agent didn't have to tell me, but it's like, for example, you go to court, right? But you don't have a lawyer. So they give you a defendant, right? So this is a public defendant. So this is what they do. Agents, they know to make money, they have to be attached to the system.
Right.
So if they're not attached, if they don't have different teams they're working with, they don't make no money. Mm-hmm. So they know if they want to keep that plug and tapped in, they always got to keep that rapport. Yeah. So, for example, you may have, let's say I got 5 bigs, right? And I know they're all talented, right? Mm-hmm. So what they will do, like my agent, for example, this is my top big, but from 2 to 4, it's a toss-up. Even with the top dude, you know what I mean? He ain't like that either. But this is how they play it. If I'm gonna get that real money for that top dude, I'm shopping him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm focusing on him.
I'm focusing on him. And whatever comes kind, like also, you don't really know what's, look, when they make deals for you, even in Europe, you don't know if, for example, I got this rapport with this team for years. I'm telling you my worth, but I really don't have a worth.
Yeah. We
don't. If we really look at it, we love labels, you know what I mean? Right. Your worth can't be $1 million. It's unfathomable. You can't even fathom your wealth, you know what I mean? So regardless, we in this system, so this is what's going on. Let's say I say to him, look, you know, this year I made 200,000, 3. Next year I had a great season. I want 4, 354, whatever. The team could give you that. But your agent is going to tell them, look, man, so you could use that money in a different direction. He wants 4, but he going to lowball you so he could get some of that bread.
Right.
You just don't see that happening, though. So now, he'll tell the dude, look, he's not going to take 350. He wants 320, 425. So I'm going to tell him the most you could give him is 380, 390. The rest of that, I need that.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a hustle. It's a hustle.
So you don't want to give him this, so I'm gonna bring it here, and so I'll bring it here,
and I squeeze
and
the
you
middle.
Give me that, and plus he still gotta give me a 10%.
Yeah.
Damn.
But you're not seeing none of that. And then the sad thing about it is, when you get cut, homeboy, they cutting you. And your agent, I don't need you to report that to me.
Right.
So that's why I gotta get into the ball stuff. I gotta I gotta lead kids in the right direction, because at the end of the day, these kids are gonna get bamboozled. I've seen it. Well, I've seen it just for myself. First of all, if I was just totally different and I'm happy, it's like I told my best friend Ice. I said, Ice, if I would have been in the league, I would have been a straight animal, B.
As a player, you mean? Or
as a person, because it's a dirty game.
Right.
So you mean like you?
It would have corrupted.
It would have corrupted me.
So maybe that's.
It was a blessing. It was a blessing that I went to Europe. I learned different languages. I played 9 years in Spain, 4 in France, 1 in Italy, and it was great because I could go always back to Europe. I can go anywhere. I got friends everywhere. People call me like, "Yo, Jaime, when you gonna come by? Chill, you got a pad to chilling." Yo, it's priceless. You know what I mean? So man, my thing is like, I don't bug out. Like right now, I was telling your brother, I'm about to shoot to Spain to renew my passport, and the only thing I need to have is my plane ticket. I don't gotta worry about no food, no house. Nah, I ain't gotta worry about that. So all that is priceless, B.
So tell me, you spent a while overseas in Spain. You spent the majority of that international career. What were the highlights? Like I know we talked about Leon as a significant piece,
right?
But like, can you take us through that aspect of your career?
All right. So when I remember the first time I was going through one of those spells. You know, when you leave your agent, things just get rocky, B. So this dude was trying to talk to me. So I was talking to this kid. He was French, and he wound up. I'm like, a tryout, nigga. Tryout? Serious? A tryout?
Practice?
Yeah, practice, tryout, whatever. So he said, I'm gonna get you a contract. You're gonna be on a trial. And then I'm like, my brother, I just played in Pro A. This is Pro B. Like, you serious? Whatever. So I get there, and it was at Brest. We're playing 3-on-3. I'm like, I'm thinking, this is preseason, and you only got 6 dudes here? Out of here. I'm like, God, please get me out of here.
Wait, where was this?
In Brest.
Where's that?
In France.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there, and the agent I was talking to you about, the Spanish one, that I'll get to the story. Right. So I'm in the gym, and I get this anonymous phone call from somebody. Say, "Oh, somebody's calling you." I was like, "Word." So
you're at the gym practicing.
At the gym practicing 3-on-3 with these dudes. Right. So I'm like, yo, I'm just trying to get out of here. So whatever this phone call is, I hope it's that. So the dude, Jose Antonio, that I got, he calls me. He says, yo, I've been after you all this time, and finally I get a hold of you. I heard you was in France. I got this situation in Spain. Would you come? I was like, would I come? How, bitch? How?
Save me.
Yo, I'm out of here. So I get to Spain, and I remember Emilio was my coach. Young dude, nervous the whole night. I remember I sat down with him. I told him, look, if we want to have a real successful year and you want to have a good relationship with me, just be clear with me. You whatever you feel. And that year I was playing by myself. There was no other American there. And I did my thing. It was great. And we didn't make the playoffs by 1 game because I missed 2 games because I got sick. So whatever. Then my agent, I'm like, why would you send me to Uruguay if I just had a great season? And then he started me in the lower league, so it was just some shit that was burning me. Right. Like, I'm not this type of caliber of dude. But then I said, since I already been through so much, I'm gonna have to go this route. You know what I mean? Right. I'm going this route. I'm going. So that year I did my thing. And he's like, oh, I got a deal in Uruguay. It's paying pretty good money. I'm like, my brother, but pretty good money. It's a couple of stacks more. It's not that serious. I want to just stay in Spain. This is the league. So I could get to Uruguay. And I was like, no, my brother. I got to get out of here. I can't play in this league. This league is trash. I can't play in this league. This is not even me. Then he set up a tryout in Argentina. I already had a bad experience when I was with the national team when we won the gold in Maracaibo. Obra Sanitaria brought me out there. Yo, they had the Cuban. So when the Cubans, if they hired 2 Cubans, they would bring the whole team. So they had these dudes sleeping in a damn locker room. Homeboy. Then I'm telling you, they had them sleeping in the locker room. So when they signed me to go there, I was like, yo, homeboy, I'm used to a car, move around an apartment. Yo, these dudes had me sleeping in the locker room, hearing drip, blick, blick, blick. I was like, my brother, man, check, no check, I'm out of here. So when the dude told me, oh, you could go to Argentina. Yo, I pray so much. That's when 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
I'm in the room, man, please, I wanna get out of here, man. So I wound up getting two deals. I had a 6-figure deal and Montpellier in France, and not too much of a big, it was a decent deal in Spain. So I wanted to go back to Spain just because. I said, and then it's funny, I spoke to a friend of mine, her name is Camille. Her mother was like, oh, Jaime, you gotta go where you're gonna be happy at. The money's not really, if you're gonna be happy, you're gonna do well. So I want my ex-coach from Guadalajara, he went back to his town and he was coaching. He was like the kid that was playing there. He got caught with some weed in his blood, so they cut him. He was like, yo, wanna come? I was like, do I?
And what town was this?
This is Guadalajara in Spain. So I was like, I'm dead, man. So I wanted to.
And that was the lesser of the two deals that
yeah, I took the work. It was like probably. It was like probably 100 and change compared to what I was making.
Less.
Right. So I was like, yeah, whatever. Cause I'm thinking I'm gonna make this up. Right. So I'm breaking barriers. So I'm like, all right, whatever. This is what this dude could get me. This is some bullshit. Excuse my language. But it was I was like, I don't get this. You after me and you telling me I'm this type of player. You gotta step your game up, dude.
Right.
So I came back to that same league and we ripped it. I was the only American. We made the playoffs and we lost in the playoffs, so cool. Then that following summer I went to DR, so I'm waiting for a deal. Boom, boom, boom.
You were playing in DR that summer or you were just hanging out?
No, I went. So after the season I went and played in the
national
league.
Team.
I think we probably did something, but I went and played with the league.
Okay.
So I played, I had an amazing summer. I'm like, yo, I can't wait for these dudes to call me back. So they call me, yeah, we got you the job in Complutense, que esto lo que hay. I was like, yo, I don't care, yo, whatever it is, I'm gonna make up for it when I'm done with all this.
Right.
So I was like, all right, that's what it is. Esos son los números. Leña. So I'm not gonna argue with him because I already know what he's gonna tell me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I already know what they're gonna know. Que esto lo otro. I was like, all right, no problem. I'll call him on the phone. I'm gonna stick this league por la narga, loco. I told him, I was like, yo, you see what I'm going through all this, my brother? You gonna put me through all of this, B? So I'm like, nah. So whatever. Exactly what I said I was gonna do, it started developing. Boom, I started. But I'm not paying attention what I'm doing. So I'm leading the league in points, valoración. Okay. So they tally that, and that's so that at the end, who has the highest valuation, they're the MVP of the league. So
what? They
accumulate points and everything you do on the court,
and they tally it up,
and they tally that up. So it's like I was not the lead. Yeah, I led the league in rebounding.
Okay.
And then I averaged, I don't know, it was like 13, 14 points. So I was doing my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I was saying before, my boy Magic Lampy wound up getting on the team. The one that played with the Knicks. I don't know if you know who he is.
I don't.
Well, whatever. He was playing with Real Madrid. So on the Real Madrid, he wasn't playing. So they got him out of Sweden. And because a lot of pro teams do that. They go get young kids. They lock them into these contracts. So
Lampy. He was European?
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
The tall white kid.
Yeah.
That's my man.
Oh, damn, you know everybody.
So, whatever. So he gets down on the team, right? And so the actual people that bought him on the team were my agents. The ones that so I had the same agent Gasol had.
Oh, okay.
But so what happened was Arturo had other people did. So if he didn't feel like, quote unquote, you were the caliber of player that he needed to deal with, he'll have his other guys deal with him. So Jose Antonio was dealing with me. Right. So Lampy gets on the team, but I'm balling. And he gets there and we start balling. Balling. he starts getting a lot of NBA
looks.
Yo, everybody's fine to come see this kid. I said, yo, get ready, B. You said that you was he's in his age group, he was like top 5, top 6, 7. I said, when you finish here, you're gonna see how many. You gotta go at Splitter. You gotta eat Splitter, Santiago Splitter up. We wanted to play him. He ate him to cookies, B. So his stock just shot up. And so
Thiago Splitter.
Thiago, yeah. From Brazil.
Yeah. He did?
Yo, he went to work on him. I remember. And then we had to wind up going back down there and play him again because something happened. He gave him like 20 and change. And yo, so he was going at him. So his stock was just rising. So I was like, look, I'm gonna keep it official with you. You high right now? You got, he had all the tools. The only thing he ain't really like that contact.
Right,
Even to this day,
he's European.
Yeah, he's a little soft. But there's a lot of Europeans ain't soft.
Yeah.
They got, you know what's beautiful about the European basketball and the way they do things? They teach you how to play the game accordingly. And they drill you that way. And so most people, oh, look at that. Because here, you got a bunch of dudes that are very athletic, but dumb as shit.
Yeah. That's a good point. No, No, and if I had to choose, I'd say the European style of basketball is the way it should be taught.
It should be
I
taught
agree.
that way.
Regardless of I think we fall in love with athleticism
That doesn't mean nothing.
and strength and brute force, but
no.
it's really
It's this.
dumb as brain. Yeah, dumb as nails. So I agree.
So when Lampy's going through so he really like he confounded he really trusted me a lot. Like even his parents were there, and he like if he made a decision, I was always in the mix. So they all knew that. They was like, oh, he's always with him. You know, them niggas, they ain't no good. They'll be following. You don't know what was going on. So Lampy was really getting a lot of attention, and so I was in the forefront of all of that. So he was like, yo, I trust you like that. My agent process, you gotta be in that. So I was like, yo, mi hermano, leña, we're gonna do this. So I can't pick him for you, but I'm gonna tell you if he a crab.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna filter him out.
I'm gonna filter them out for you. I already know what this dude is about. And I used to see, I look at him right in the eyes. I mean, like, yo, this dude is a clown, P. He's just trying to make some bread off of you, like everybody else. But somebody's gonna be more honest about it. Yo, look, I'm trying to make some bread off of you, B.
Right.
Yo, it'd be beautiful if dudes spoke like that. Look, my brother, I love what I see in you. I can make money with you. Yo, mi hermano, I respect you for that.
Yeah.
So whatever. So we going through the process. So he wind up signing, and I wind up signing with his agent. So when they saw that, they was like, word. So my agent is my Spanish agent. It don't matter who I sign if it's an American agent or not. So I don't know if they got mad at that, but they got mad because Lampy signed. So I was telling them that I got hurt in the playoffs. So in the playoffs when I got hurt, they was like, oh, this is the right moment to stick it to him. So the whole, from the GM to everybody that was in management was a part of that agency. So everybody that was working for the team was a part of that agency. They was either being represented by the agency. So they was all in cahoots. So when I got hurt, I couldn't really play. So they was like, oh, perfect, because now we gonna stick it to him. So Lampy signs with the dude, and he's trying to get out of his clause, but Real Madrid put a 2.4 buyout. So nobody really wanted to touch him. But behind the scenes, I was getting smoked. Peterson, this, that. Blah,
like the media out there, or
what?
Yeah.
Why? Because so a matter of fact, the Arturo Ortega, that now they call him a thief because he was stealing money from Gasol and all these dudes. So you do something to me, it's gonna come out in the wash. So they when it happened, they was like, I was telling your brother that there was a big bonus. A lot of money put, because they was like, this team is not gonna
do that well.
They're not gonna do that well. Well, we did. And so they're eating me up, blackballing me. So I had the lawyer that I had was Lampy's people, and he wanted taking a liking to me. So we had a tight rapport. That was the one that helped me with my passport. He was the one that took me to the hospital. So I was like, look, first of all, and this is why I get so pissed off at the whole thing. If you sign a contract, right? How can you breach a contract when you get hurt and the team doesn't take you to the hospital the next day? Don't you think you need to take yourself to the hospital?
So that's what they accused you of.
But it was all crap.
Right.
It was all crap. So
sorry. So they said, so you get hurt, and they used that as like, oh wait, you breached the contract because you didn't take yourself to the hospital.
Cause I took myself to the hospital.
Oh, instead of letting them do it.
But why?
They weren't doing it.
No, but why I'm gonna? If we got a game on Tuesday, I need to know what's going on with my leg.
Right.
But luckily, like I was telling him, I'm really close to one of the most prestigious sports family in Spain. So the brother was my masseuse. So his brother was the president of the Players Federation, basketball association. So he was like, Paco said to him, "What's the problem here? No, yo, this kid right here is legit. Don't worry about it. Este de lo mío personal. This is a situation. They trying to stick it to him." Well, yo, you know Spain is a racist country. You know that. Y más, that if you're Dominican and you know how to speak the language, and so you know what it was, they couldn't finagle me though. You know what I mean? I done seen enough. And so it was so bad that my agent even told me, yo, I can't even dirty my hands with you, homeboy. This whole operation is bigger than me. He told me that straight up and down.
You just sound like the mafia.
Yo, he told me straight up and down. He was like, yo, there's nothing I could do for you. Yo, so I said, all right, cool. So my man's brother, my masseuse, Paco's brother, Jose Luis Llorente, he says, look, every team, if the budget is $2 million, they gotta put up 4. So to cover any expenses, if they owe anybody, so on and so forth, and then somebody puts out a claim on them, they can't retire that money. So he told me, look, all those because they what they call them expedientes, like they had some complaints on me that I did this, that, but it was so they wouldn't pay me that bonus that they owe. So they owe me like, it was like a 20, like the bonus was like 20. I wound up getting like 18, like 15 or 18 I got. But the whole thing in total, we would have won the whole thing. It was like 20 something. So, whatever, to make the long story short, he tells me, what you have to do is you gotta contest all these complaints, right? And then notarize, go to the notary and get them notarized. So we did that. And then write a letter to the federation that they owe you such and such. So he said, send it 2 weeks before they get it, before they retire the money. So as soon as I send that letter, esa gritadera, hey, yo, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? We're gonna give you your money. I was like, no, I want it all.
Right.
Because I already know what y'all gonna do to me.
No half-stepping.
Nah, so I said, look, if I'm gonna go for broke, I'm gonna go for broke. Because y'all already blackballed me here. So I had everybody in the top league loving me. But I didn't know all of this because I was getting pooped on. So I'm like, I'm done. I mean, they closed literally every door. They try to close every door on me.
Wow.
So I was wondering why this was happening. I was like, nah, boom, boom, boom. So it killed my passport, of me getting my passport the following year to waiting 4 years to get it. So if I would have got my Spanish passport, I would have already been playing in Spain as a European, but it wouldn't count as American. So my stock would have been even, it would have shot off the roof.
Right.
So I was like, all right. So this road to get in there, I'm like, look, it's like dismantling in front of my face. So I'm like, so I remember I'm there, I think I stayed there till I came home the day of my mom's birthday, July 21st. But yo, they was trying to take the rented car from me. I had to park it in different places so they wouldn't find it. I was like, no, because see, if you're not gonna dance with me, I'm going for broke.
Right. You was running rogue out there.
Nah, what? And then I had the city on lock. You know what I mean?
So, yeah,
I was up the hill
out
from the Dominicans. I had it all right. So, whatever. To make the long story short, they blackballed me. And I finally got a job in Italy. And from all that stress, I was telling them that year I almost died in Italy. I caught a kidney infection.
Oh.
So it was just all the stress, just the whole, it just wore me out, man. And it was just like, I was like, man, you serious? So I got over the sickness. My mom came over there to see me. This shit was like a miracle, because I didn't think I was going to play ball for a while. The doctor said it was going to take 6 months. And then I wound up coming back in a month and a half and went to work. And so I wound up that year. I had to wait till I went to Italy. I had to wait there for a little bit with my ex. And then I wound up getting a job because my boy Floyd Miller got hurt. So you know Yanni, the one that plays for Washington?
Yeah.
I played with him.
The Knicks was giving him the business the other day.
Who you talking about?
Man. Yeah.
Mahimi. Oh, yeah,
So we wound up playing together that year in the half. And I wound up having a real good season, but I couldn't really get back to Spain like that because, you know, the back and forth. So I was like, whatever. So then the following year, that agent, Arturo, he saw me, right? And he said, yo, you look great, like forgetting what they did. So whatever, they got a hold. So I guess the lawyer was doing some work with some of their players, and he probably was letting them know, yo, Peterson is about to get his passport. So I went down there to do some things for my passport. So my old coach, my first 2-year coach from Guadalajara and Placencia, he said, yo, I'll make a deal. Come to Guadalajara. I need to talk to you. So this is it all unfolds. Because he was the lawyer, he was doing all the legal work of the agency. So he sat down with me. He said, look, I'm going to be real with you, and I'm going to be honest with you. The reason why they did all that to you was because Lampy signed with another agent.
And they got mad because you were his confidant.
Yeah, but because that money that they was going to make off of him, now they're not making it.
And they thought you swayed him in that direction.
Yeah, nah. And so I was like, but I ain't had nothing to do with that.
Right.
I ain't had nothing to do with that. And so, like I was telling your brother the other day, so the reporter that did all this writing, I took all that information from the doctor, right? And I was like, yo, I told him, how could you write anything about someone like that? Knowing what you're doing to his career, mind you don't know if it's true or not. So I said, look, I want to sit down with you and have some lunch and discuss some things with you. So I had that nice yellow portfolio with all that info there.
The doctor's
records, like explaining exactly the diagnosis of what my injury was. And he's eating the burger. And I did it purposely while he got the burger in his mouth. And I said, Mom, here, read that.
He started choking.
Well, I said, nah. Be easy now. He says, how could I change this? I said, there's nothing you could do now.
Right. It's done.
It's done. So I told him I'm going to see if I can get him the article. Peterson, rumba la libre.
Okay.
To the ACB, to the top league. And so it's funny. So I go to Italy for 1 year, 2 years to France, and I do well, and I could have stayed in France, and then I was like, nah, if I'm gonna get my passport, let me go back to Spain. So I go back to deal with these same crooks again. He's calling me, you know, I already know what's going on.
Acting like nothing happened.
Yeah, like nothing happened. So I'm like, yo, I just want to get back.
Right.
I'll get back. So that year that all that happened to me, I won the MVP of the league. So trust me, when you win the MVP of the league, you're gonna the next year for sure. You're gonna play in the ACB. There's gonna because I already knew I was that type of player anyway. You know what I mean? As it got better, I got better. You know, it didn't matter with me. So those 3 years that I was gone, when I came back the following year, I came back to playing left. But that year we won the chip. So I was mad influenced. So watch how this shit plays out. So the year I win the MVP. Come on, something gotta give. Then I leave for 3 years and I come back and we win a chip. Yep. Yo, homeboy, he had 2 offers on the table for me. I was like, nah. You know what? I'm not gonna last too long in this beat. I gotta get up out of here. And then I was just like, I had enough. I had enough with the DR stuff, because it's just so, it's not like, even like when I talk to them about the DR stuff, like they're talking about it now, like, one dude posted something on Facebook. Like he was like, "Yo, he should be there." Like the stuff I've done, not being Dominican by blood, not really because I wasn't born there.
You're like us, yeah.
But the way I got down for that country and the way I rep my peoples is second to none. So with all the accolades I have accumulated in my career, you can't really find nobody that's done the same thing. And then the people that I've bring with me to be a part of that, you know what I mean? And so when I look at it, I don't really. It's like I was telling somebody, I hope I make the pearly gates, B. That Hall of Fame. I know I'm not worthy of that, but if I could make the pearly gates of God just to touch the grass, that's sufficient for me. All that other stuff, because in all reality, it's not really gonna mean nothing. You're gonna get glorified by what people?
Wait, when you say the Hall of Fame, you
right,
speaking
the Dominican Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now I'm in the mix of getting in. I've been nominated now for 2 years, and now they so when they nominate you, the first when they put you in
eligibility.
In eligibility is a 5-year eligibility. So the 5th year, if by the 4th year, the 5th year, they gotta, committee gotta get together, whatever. But it's just like it's a joke to me, like, you know what I mean?
Process,
the whole process, it's a joke because it's not. They're not gonna look at it how they need to look at it.
I'm gonna piggyback off what I said about Pittsburgh,
right?
Because I feel the more like. The more you have things in place to where your name is there, present, elevate. That's more like.
Funny he says that.
No, because it speaks for you, bro. Like it's just the it's the lights for you already. It's like it's the image, it's the illusion, whatever it is that they need to see more of.
But it's funny you say that.
It is.
It's funny. I'm not gonna disagree. But I went to get this award in Providence. I'm not gonna say the man's name, but he was like, "You're gonna have to politics some more."
He
told me that. I'm taking a picture with him, and he said, "Esto es lo que hay."
You know what?
But it could be. It doesn't have to be the ass kissing.
No, but it's like when he's saying, like I was telling your brother, and eventually I want to start doing camps in DR.
Right.
Like helping the kids out, but I want to do it quietly. I don't need to make noise.
You don't need the spotlight. Yeah.
I don't need that. And so, because that's the way I did it when I was in DR. Nobody knew I was going to do what I did in DR.
That comes from a very modest, humble place.
Right.
But, in my opinion, they're looking for. Oh, look what he's doing. That's what they're looking for.
That's the Jaime though.
But I'm not speaking on.
No, I know. But I understand.
I respect from the most G's way possible. I respect you all deep. Forget it. Right. But I'm just saying from what you're shooting for versus who you are. And he said it himself. You got a politic. Right. That's little. They want to see you on the camera.
Yeah. Yo, look, we're running out of time because we gotta.
Can I ask one question?
No, go. After you. A few questions.
All right.
I just want to make sure we're covering a few things. You've seen a lot in New York.
Right.
I'm gonna let you, but I want you to think about this as he asks his question. Top players coming out of New York that you've been able to witness. How you look at them. It could be top 1, top 2, 3, whatever you think. I want you to think about that because I want to get your opinion and collect opinions on all the guests to kind of see where we end up at the end of a season.
Right.
See who gets the most votes.
How you mean like the best players that
the best players that you either know based on people's opinions that you trust or that you've actually seen coming out of New York basketball players.
Okay.
So this is like what? Like he's gonna answer this after? Like
yeah. I want her to get a sense.
Just put that in his brain.
Yeah, no problem.
But you go ahead. You go.
So we always ask this on this show, and I'm very interested. I have a guess, but I want you to answer. But I'm gonna guess first, and then you answer. Ready? Okay. I want to know who was the player you could compare your game to if there is a person like someone that we would all know if that person's in the NBA. I usually do NBA because it's like easier to say, okay, I've probably seen this dude as opposed to a guy in college, just because it's just more. So is there a guy that you could say, even if it wasn't exact, but like closest to, like you look at him play and you say, yeah, like that's similar to what I used to do or something like that?
Wait, you gonna guess first or you want him to
yeah, I want to guess first.
Okay, go. What do you think?
My guess is Kenyon Martin. Damn, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
A little bit, but I'm gonna be honest.
I'm just kidding.
when I used to play, I could rebound the ball, I could finish, I could score around the basket.
You was dunking, crazy.
So you know, one person that I always I always loved Derrick Coleman, the way he played.
Oh, he's fine, nasty.
But I was not like that. But I was more like a Sean Kemp type.
Oh,
word.
Hello, word.
I'm tight. I never got to see him play.
That's crazy. You still got bungees like that?
Yeah, I could run the floor.
See, I ain't playing. Yo, I take everything I said about sizing you up there.
Because he was, you know, he was great because he was so athletic.
Yeah.
And I mean, not that he had all that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But,
you talking about Sean Kemp?
You feeding the ball, something dope.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Like
so I heard a story, and I want you to confirm or deny. There was a dunk contest in the Dominican Republic that supposedly you won.
Right.
And it sounds like your finishing move was you stacked 2 dumpsters, one on top of another.
I forgot what it was.
Oh my God.
Chairs, and it's funny, I had somebody sitting on it, and it was me on Kanye Valley, and I remember I did a few dunks. They were alright. And then the last one I did.
all right,
I jumped. I think I jumped over somebody, like in the chair or something. I don't know how far it was, and I dunked it, and I won it. But man, that was an amazing like All-Star game. And I'm trying to get footage on that right now. But it's so sad. Like in DR, you can't get these things.
Nothing.
Man.
There's nothing about nothing.
You can't. I asked this one guy. He told me that he's gonna get me all this stuff.
Right.
But it's crazy that I can't. So if I come up with anything and I could and he could muster it together, I'll definitely shoot it your way.
Yo, let me know. That'd be dope for the social and all that stuff to
I'll definitely do it.
I guarantee I'm gonna make a prediction on this show right here, right now. I guarantee the moment that this man gets more popularized with Pittsburgh and all these lights and all the bells and whistles are coming your way. I guarantee it.
Probably so.
Getting out there, I want to hit Paris. So you take that probably so down the street.
I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure we can contribute to that.
That's right. Dribble and dive, baby.
It's a beautiful story.
It's dope.
And you're one of those people, like I told you, like you ruined, in a good way, you kind of ruined me when I first met you because the humility, the good kind-heartedness.
I mean,
like that was, and not that I've met other players. Actually, I'm lying. Recently I met John Starks, and he was also an amazing person.
I got another story for John Starks.
I'm kind of spoiled because I know it's not the norm from what people talk about. We're getting kicked out of here.
All right.
So we're a fledgling podcast, so we don't have a location. But I want to finish with what is Jaime Peterson doing today, and if you wanted to share social media or whatever have you, how can people reach out and kind of see what you're doing?
Now I decided that I wanted to start training kids and coaching, so I'm doing that. And then a few hours during the day, I run this juice bar in Mount Vernon.
Oh, nice.
I'm into health, so
Dope.
I do that. But for now, I'm gonna definitely go full-fledged with the coaching stuff. I think that I could be influential in kids' life. It's not even about the basketball. It's just, giving the kids discipline.
And formation.
That's what it is. Because at the end of the day, the window of basketball, if anything you decide to do in life, is going to be
small.
It's small. So, you know what I mean? It's just building that rapport and that relationship with a kid that I was able to experience when I was a kid. To be able to, give it off to other kids. I mean, I think it's a beautiful thing. And every kid is not going to be a pro. But just that you could be influential in his life, I think that's the most important thing.
That's so dope. So I'm gonna say it here, and I'm a big believer. If you say it, speak it into the universe, chances of it happening are pretty dope. 2019 Dominican Hall of Fame, Jaime Peterson.
That's right. Yeah. And guess who's gonna be in attendance for that?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We gonna be in attendance for that.
We're gonna do
along with our Pittsburgh gear. We gonna get the Pittsburgh tickets. Yo, I'm already sizing myself up, man. Hold on, what size is this shirt?
What size you
This is at least an extra large and a large.
Large.
I need the jerseys. I'm gonna call your mother. This is not over.
Yo, thanks everybody for listening. Check us out at Dribble N Dimes. That's DRIBBLENDIMES on all the socials. Yeah, man, this is a pleasure.
I'm Emilio the Poet.
Likewise.
Yeah, so that's Emilio the Poet, Manny Digital, and
Jaime Peterson.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Dribble and Dimes. If you like what you heard, please leave a review or comment wherever you're listening to us now.